Hey everyone, welcome into the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena for our episode one reaction and review to She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burlyman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. So Burley and Carl, how you doing? Burley, how are you? Ready to talk some She-Hulk?
I'm good. I'm just gonna go to sleep for this review.
Carl, how you doing?
Doing great. Just Marvel is back to being Marvel, you know.
Marvel is back to being Marvel. Okay, so you'll have to, tell us what you mean by that. So as we go into the show here. So obviously, we're going to be talking about She-Hulk. So yeah, let's get right into it. So yeah, I mean they don't leave any stones unturned, right? Like right at the beginning, it's funny. It's like you see her. Uh, well, before I say anything, I'll let all of you know, of course, this episode, we will have some spoilers in it. So this is a spoiler episode of the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena on She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So if you have not watched She-Hulk Attorney at Law episode 1, please go and watch it on Disney Plus and then come back and watch our video here. So that's your spoiler warning. So anyway, yeah, we see her. We see Jennifer Walters, preparing for a case, and then boom, we go back in time, like what was it, like a few months or so earlier, or something like that.
Yeah.
And Banner and her are in the car. Of course, she is Bruce Banner's cousin, and it's like all they're talking about is Captain America. It's like,
I love it.
you
It
know,
sets up the running joke in the episode of like trying to figure out if Captain America is a virgin or not.
yeah. I mean, it's like the whole episode was like about Captain America being a virgin and everything. So, and the cool thing when Banner was in the car, I liked that thing that he had on his arm to stop him. It was like a prototype uh, device that stopped him from turning into the Hulk again, even into Smart Hulk, so he could stay in his regular, normal human self, uh, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, I want to hear your guys' take on this. Obviously, they decided to change the showrunners decided to change how Jennifer Walters originally turns into She-Hulk, because in the comics, as you probably know, Burley and Carl, she turns into the She-Hulk because of a stick up, like a hit, and there's all this gunfire and all, and Banner has to give her blood transfusions to help her survive. So that's how it happens in the comics. But here, it is a car crash, and as they crash, obviously, Banner's blood mixes with hers. How did you guys feel about the way she originally transforms into She-Hulk for the first time in this show, as opposed to the comics? Carl, I guess I'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, and it's a good change, especially when you think of the MCU version of the Hulk, and like he would never give her a blood transfusion. He knows what would happen. Like
Yeah.
that's that. So like it had to be accidental in some regard.
Yeah.
So I like the car accident. The fine. I like the explanation. Like the quick. I'm always like a fan of like if you're gonna do something that needs explanation, at the very least, give me a line of dialogue to explain it. And like that you got to do something like that, and they do it here. They do it exactly as you need to. Enough, just enough. You don't need to get into it, like why he developed this thing. Like the implication, I don't know. To me, I thought it was like, yeah, he made this thing. He said something about his arm wasn't healing. He was trying to figure that out. So he made this thing so he could stay in human form, and maybe his arm was getting better because of that. Who knows? And then immediately, and it's almost like I don't know if they were thinking of it that way, but it is sort of if you remember in the Incredible Hulk movie, where he was very worried about his blood like getting anywhere, like a drop of his blood when he was working in the factory, right?
Yeah.
And the drop of blood gets into one of the bottles, right? He like cuts himself. He makes sure to like wipe up any of the blood. He doesn't realize the one drop got into it, and then they have that's the cameo with Stan Lee.
Yeah.
He like sort of dies from it. It's like it's like they're to me, it seems like they remembered that and they understood that like his blood was really dangerous, and he knew immediately. Like he was like really warning her. It's like, oh no, not my blood. You got like you can't. You got like it's really bad. And later they say that she, it's like it was like a lethal dose of gamma radiation. I'm like, yeah, his blood should have killed like anyone else. So,
Right.
good stuff.
Right. Burley, what did you think of Bruce Banner's kind of like Mexico beach via? That was pretty cool. Huh?
I did like that, and I did like the whole device on his arm. I did like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
His little escape, his little bar and everything, his little lab. I enjoyed that stuff. That was cool.
Yeah, a lot of Stark references, of course, like him and Tony had created the bar, and all that Tony would do was complain about Captain America. So,
I like that. The little bit of like, hey, this is something that happened, but you didn't realize the Hulk, like where he was. This is a cool episode if you're a fan of the Hulk and you want to know more about what he's done, maybe things that he's thinking about, where his story might go, because that Sakaran ship that causes the accident is definitely a tease of what's to come for the Hulk.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the spaceship though? It's like the spaceship that like stops in front of them, and that's what causes them to crash. I mean, it's like
that's what I just said. The Sakaran ship, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then and then like Banner was saying later that he was going to have to investigate that or something.
Yeah. I like how it's funny. He's very casual about it. It's like, oh, that stuff that just happens when you're a Hulk, Yeah. Like they're after me for something. Like I'm gonna have to deal with it later. Good stuff, And then that could end up being like, maybe because there was a talk, if you saw that, it's possible. I guess it wasn't officially announced that Marvel is gonna get the rights back from Paramount. I don't know exactly, like distribution maybe I think was the rights.
Yeah.
So they may be able to make a straight out Hulk movie in the future, and World War Hulk would probably be the title I would assume they would go with, and you can relate that, of course, to Sakaar. That story is involved with that. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the training? I mean, it's like what was interesting is obviously, Banner, he was Smart Hulk, obviously, talking about how it took him like years, to figure out, how to transform himself, like into Smart Hulk, and how he was like the Beast Hulk, like on, talking about being in space for a couple of years and having to be the Beast Hulk at all times. And then it's like her transformation is really interesting at the very, very beginning. It's like she couldn't control it in a sense, but as the episode goes along, she's like sitting there in yoga position with him, and then she like transforms into She-Hulk, and then like 5 seconds later transforms right back into herself. She's able to, transform back and forth, and it's like it just completely freaked Banner out. It's like, whoa, this is something new here, I mean, I really enjoyed that part, but what did you guys think of the training sequences and even some of the, some of the fight sequences between the two? I mean, there's people out there that say the CG wasn't very good, but I don't know. What did you guys think of this? Burley, I'll start with you.
Training overall, I thought was fine. He's a little too quick in my opinion, but I get it because they just want to get things up and rolling and going with the series. I get that. CG, I didn't think it was I had no issues with it. I know if you really want to go frame by frame, I'm sure you can find stuff and nitpick it, but to me overall, the CGI was fine.
Carl, your thoughts?
I mean, as far as CGI goes, I didn't have any issues. I think they nailed it every time they focused in on both of these characters. If I had to say, there's probably, like earlier was saying, if you look carefully at some of maybe the action, maybe that CGI isn't the greatest ever. But I'll tell you what, it's damn good to incredible for a TV series. So, you know, any issues that people had of her face, right, not looking great, that's gone, like, completely. I mean,
And
even
of the
in,
hair transformation too, from it being curly
yeah,
to straight. Yeah.
right. Even
Yeah.
in like the broad daylight scenes when you're seeing them, like, look straight. One of the things I love about Marvel is they've a lot of in the movies particularly, but like they've managed to do so much great CG in broad daylight.
Yeah.
You know, they're not hiding. So yeah, the training sequence was fun. I enjoyed all of this. That moment you're talking about where like she gets angry for a second and turns into, you know, She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And Bruce is like, look, see, there you go. And she's like, no, I did that on purpose. He's like,
Yeah.
what?
And then just boop right back down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then before he's like, this is going to be a 15-year journey. You know,
Yeah.
and he's telling her all the things like you said, like I was the other guy for like 2 years. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's like, there's no other guy in your head, like you lose control. She's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it was great. I enjoyed it. Like, they're different characters, and that's great. We're seeing the difference. Like, he has this other thing that's happened to him.
Yeah, she was just like, I want to get out of here so bad. You know, it's like I have this other life, you know, I'm an attorney, I'm a lawyer, I put so much time and effort into that. I got to get back to that. Where Banner is like, no, you can't do that now. You have to put that life behind you now. You have to stay away from people. And she's like, well, I kind of have to be around people to do my job. You know?
Exactly. And this is a good, like, and it's short, and I think that's fine because the point of this, not the point of the show, right, is for her to be, you know, having this long origin story, this drawn out, you know, like adventure, you know, fighting the bad guy, understanding who you are. Like, no, she knows who she is. She's a lawyer, and she worked hard in her life to get to that point. And this thing happened to her, and she's like, I don't really want to deal with this. She's like, I think I'm fine. Like, can I go? Like, all right, you need to teach me a little bit. She like has to like give in to him. Like, all right, fine. I guess I should like learn the basics. But she's like, I want to go back to my life. Like, I don't need to do this.
Right. Just a little nitpick at the beginning when she's in her office, you see the plaque for her degree. It says the University of California. And of course, you know, I went to the University of California, Berkeley, and I was like, wow, she went to Berkeley. But then I see the cup. I see the cup there on the bookshelf, and it says UCLA on it. I'm like, oh, okay. UCLA is our rival school, but
okay.
Yeah, University of California, Los Angeles. But anyway, so let's talk about the ending of the episode. Of course, she's back in the courtroom. You know, she's back in her normal life, so to speak, and she's talking about I haven't had an episode like in, you know, since then, so everything's great, hunky dory. And then she's about to go up and give her closing statements, and then boom, you see the other girl come through the wall. I mean, you know, and they make it seem very comedic. You know, I think a lot of this series is going to be very comedy focused.
For sure.
But what did you guys think of the closing scenes in the courtroom? Burley, I'll start with you.
Closing scene in the courtroom. Overall, I enjoyed it, but like you get the funny little line of everyone just wanting her to turn into She-Hulk. And she's like, I really don't want to. I don't want to lose these shoes. I don't want to lose this outfit and all this and that.
I really like this outfit.
This outfit. And then she just like, here. I like these shoes. Here, take the shoes. So we can at least save these. And then she beats up the attacker because we don't know the name. And then just goes like, I'm ready to make my closing statement.
I love that.
I'm ready.
That.
I'm ready.
I like my kind of thing is like, I get this. This is really they are really pushing for comedy on this, and some of it lands for me, and some of it doesn't. And it's just like so many times during this show, during this episode, you could have had a laugh track going.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for them to throw the laugh track in. Anyone else feel that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never felt like the jokes were those type of jokes. I'm not to say all the jokes were like great and all landed. I think, but for the most part, I mean, it's reason I said earlier, like this is MCU back to just, this is Marvel again, being Marvel. Like this to me feels like the most MCU like of all of the Disney shows so far. And it's just got that same sort of comedic tone to it as most of the Marvel stuff. Leaning more into comedy, yes. That's going to be maybe like the sort of Ant-Man, Thor side, not quite as wacky maybe as the Thor stuff now.
Yeah.
And just having that feel of like, just a, here's a character, here's a fun character, an interesting character, a great personality character. Yeah, man, I'm excited for more. The courtroom thing, like, what is sort of leads into my one small criticism of that, like, and it's really not much of a criticism. It's just like I want more. I wanted 2 episodes, because the first, I don't know what the show is going to be like really week to week.
Yeah,
because we had our quick origin, and I liked it, and I understand, like, it makes sense to do it this way, to like, her origin isn't like this wild elaborate adventure, so like, let's get it over with, let's do it justice in its 1 episode, and then we're going to move on. And even the show tells you this itself, because she says, like, yeah, this is going to be a lawyer show, it's going to be a fun lawyer show, like, we're going to get back to that.
Yeah.
But first I got to see how I became the She-Hulk.
And I'm really interested to see how Matt Murdock's character is in this series compared to how he was in the Netflix series. Whether he will be more comedic or more open-hearted in this series compared to how he was in the Netflix series, we shall see. I'm really excited to see that. Yeah.
I really like the villain that showed up. Titania, I think, is the character. We didn't get anything, and I know that's just the way the episode was designed. But like, I do wonder, like, okay, is that going to be a character going forward? Are we going to learn about like why she has powers? What's the deal with that? I don't know. Like, or is that just a one-off? I don't think so. I think that actress is like a reoccurring character. But
I think she's going to be coming back for some other parts. So,
well, the real question now, because they've introduced this in Miss Marvel, is she a mutant?
Could be.
Yeah. We shall see. So anyway, if you're new to our channel, please be sure to hit that. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe and the notification bell for future content that we will drop. So this has been the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena and our episode 1 reaction and review of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. We hope to catch you in the next episode when we do our reaction and review to episode 2. So until then, take care, everyone. Peace out.
Captain America.